Bacteria, the nasopharynx, and nasal passageway by Evans Wiggle. Nasopharynx, or nasal cavity, is a reservoir of bacteria and is one of the places in the body where it is easy for bacteria and viruses to enter from. Just because many bacteria are there does not mean all of these bacteria are bad bacteria. And many of the bacteria in your nasopharynx are harmless and may even be beneficial. It is necessary to understand the types of bacteria in the nasopharynx and how some of these bacteria can cause you to become sick. The nasopharynx is like a direct passageway into your lungs and to the back of your throat, which is the pharynx. A lot of bacteria are there, some beneficial, some harmful, but it's important to understand that this passageway is a lot of the reason why people become sick. The nasopharynx is actually the location where COVID, the virus, is usually found, and that's where we test to see if you have it or not. Some examples of beneficial bacteria or probiotics include lactobacillus, Corynebacterium accumbens, Dolocigranulum pigrum. These three bacteria are usually found in the nasal passageway or nasopharynx. All three are either harmless or benefit your body in some way. We'll see that in the next slides. Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is a beneficial bacteria that usually live in our digestive, urinary, and genital system without causing disease. A study recently found that they are also in the nasal passages of healthy individuals. Lactobacillus is most commonly used for diarrhea, including infectious diarrhea and diarrhea in people taking antibiotics or antibiotic-associated diarrhea. Some people also use lactobacillus for general digestion problems, a long-term disorder of the large intestine that causes stomach pain. Lactobacilli are usually found all over the body in the gut, but mostly in the gut. They're a healthy bacteria that kind of they're usually a sign of a healthy individual. They're very beneficial and like maybe help break down other bacteria or food, or release beneficial not bacteria, but they do beneficial things in our gut usually. It's actually been recently found in a study that lactobacilli or lactobacillus was in the nasopharynx and nasal passages as well. So that was very interesting to find. Corynebacterium accumbens is a harmless bacteria usually found in healthy children. It's a gram-positive bacteria with a bacillus shape. Corynebacterium accumbens will change its local habitat and inhibit the growth of Streptococcus pneumonia by releasing antibacterial-free fatty acids. So I think this was really interesting because I've never actually heard of this bacteria before, in that they usually found this one and another one that we'll come across later in the nasopharynx and nasal passages of healthy children. These children were considered healthy because they didn't have the Streptococcus pneumonia bacteria, and they think that Corynebacterium, which is also found in other parts of the body, releases antibacterial-free fatty acids to stop the growth of Streptococcus. Dolocigranulum pigrum is a gram-positive bacterium. They have been found to be able to modulate respiratory immunity and increase the resistance against pathogens. These bacteria were also found in healthy children that did not have the Staphylococcus pneumonia bacteria. This one goes hand in hand with the Corynebacterium accumbens because they were also found together. And they both, although this one has a bit of in other parts of the body it can have negative effects, but it was found in healthy children. So they're still studying what specific benefits it has. But the two were found to be beneficial in the nasal passages and nasopharynx. Some harmful bacteria: Streptococcus pneumonia, Staphylococcus aureus, and Moraxella catarrhalis. Streptococcus pneumonia is a gram-positive spherical bacteria. It can be found in the nasopharynx and nasal passageway and cause pneumococcal disease. Pneumococcal disease is caused by bacteria called Streptococcus pneumonia. People with pneumococcal disease can spread the bacteria to others when they cough or sneeze. It can cause infections in the lungs, sinuses, ears, and brain and spinal cord. It is more common in spring and winter in more temperate climates. A lot of symptoms including fever, cough, joint pains, chills, brain, and in like severe cases, brain damage and death. This is actually one of the bacteria we use in class, but I found it interesting that this bacteria was also found in the nasopharynx, and it is the cause of pneumococcal disease in many individuals, but it's actually found a lot in more in children, and it's more dangerous for children. And Staphylococcus aureus is present in the nose of about 30% of healthy adults and on the skin of about 20% of them. Staphylococcus aureus is the most dangerous of all of the many common staphylococcal bacteria. They are gram-positive, spear-shaped bacteria that often cause skin infections, but can cause pneumonia, heart infections, and bone infections. This one is, I did not realize that this bacteria was so dangerous, but it can also be found in the nasopharynx. Moraxella catarrhalis is a non-motile gram-negative bacteria. Causes infections in the respiratory system, middle ear, eyes, and central nervous system. Many young children have this in their respiratory tracts for the first few years of life, and it doesn't always cause infections. If it does, it usually results in like a simple ear or sinus infection. But if a child has a weakened immune system, it can cause serious infections like pneumonia and bronchitis. Adults usually don't have this in their respiratory tract, and when they do, it is often due to other underlying conditions. As you've seen, there are different types of bacteria that can show up in your nasopharynx or nasal passages, and some of them can even be deadly. Many studies are being done on the effects of the beneficial bacteria and how they can help fight against harmful bacteria that may appear in your nasopharynx. As this is the passageway directly into your body and lungs, it is important to understand what bacteria cause what effects. It is interesting to see how not all bacteria are harmful. And these are my sources.